The cafeteria froze the instant Emma Carter hit the floor. Her lunch tray skidded across the tiles, spraying food like confetti. Laughter erupted from a corner, sharp, cruel, echoing off the walls. 3 boys stood over her, Jason Miller, Tyler Briggs, and Brent Collins. They carried the swagger of students who ruled Ridgeway High without ever being challenged. "Welcome to Ridgeway High, loser," Jason sneered. Most students saw a quiet girl who wouldn't dare fight back. What they didn't know, what no one at Ridgeway High could have guessed, was that Emma had spent years training under her late father, Marine Sergeant Michael Carter. Behind her calm eyes was discipline sharper than any blade, patience forged through pain, and a promise she never intended to break. She rose slowly, brushing dirt from her jeans. Her silence wasn't fear, it was restraint. Emma arrived at Ridgeway High with nothing more than a worn backpack, cheap sneakers, and a quiet stare that made people uncomfortable. She had moved from base to base her whole life. Her father raised her with structure, resilience, and skills far beyond her age. He taught her to read people's intentions by their stance, to breathe through fear, and to use her strength only to protect, not to prove anything. But Sergeant Carter was gone now, lost in a training accident 2 years earlier. The weight of that loss sat behind her every step. She carried his lessons like armor, and his final request like an oath. Never fight unless someone needs protecting. Never fight for pride. She hoped Ridgeway High would be a chance to start over. But high school battlefields were different. Here, enemies didn't use guns. They used whispers, humiliation, and the delight of an audience. Emma's simple clothes, quiet voice, and distant demeanor made her stand out in all the wrong ways. Jason and his gang noticed her within days. Jason, the charismatic basketball star, thrived on attention and power. He called it harmless fun, but his victims would have used different words: fear, humiliation, helplessness. Emma dealt with it silently. She sat alone, studied quietly, and avoided conflict. But bullies don't tire when their target remains silent. They escalate. They toss crumpled notes at her head, hit her books, blocked her path in the hallways. And every day, she bit back the reflexes drilled into her bones. Every day, she remembered her father's voice. One afternoon, after Jason had tripped her in the hall and sent her books scattering, a gentle voice spoke beside her. You don't have to let them do this." Emma looked up. Lily Thompson stood beside her, small, bright-eyed, walking with a brace from childhood polio. Emma had seen her around before, moving with quiet determination even as the world tried to trip her. "They used to do the same to me," Lily said softly. "People like Jason only stop when someone makes them." Emma offered a faint smile. "Silence can be stronger than shouting." Lily shook her head. "Not here. Here, silence is weakness." Emma didn't argue, but the words stayed with her, echoing louder each day. That very afternoon, the bullies cornered her by the lockers. Jason snatched her notebook and ripped pages out one by one, letting them float to the floor like torn memories. "Say something," he demanded. Emma's voice was calm, barely a ripple. "Are you done?" His smirk faltered. Tyler shoved her shoulder. Brent laughed, expecting Emma to shake, to shrink, to cry. She didn't. She simply gathered her papers and walked away. It was the first time anyone had walked away from Jason's gang without fear, and it infuriated them. They wanted a reaction. They wanted power. They wanted her silence to mean surrender. But Emma Carter didn't surrender. By Friday, they had planned something bigger, something meant to break her. The cafeteria buzzed with chatter and music. Emma sat alone as usual. Lily watched nervously from a nearby table. Jason slammed both hands onto her table. "Didn't see you at the game last night. Busy practicing crying?" His friends laughed. Emma looked up, expression unreadable. "You done that line again?" Jason stiffened. He didn't like being challenged, especially by someone who didn't raise her voice, didn't cower, didn't seem to care. Tyler flicked her juice box, spilling across her lunch. "Oops." Emma inhaled slowly. Her fists tightened beneath the table. Her father's voice returned like a steady drumbeat. "Control your body, or your anger will control you." Then Jason shoved her hard. The chair tipped. Emma hit the floor. Silence swallowed the room. Students stared. Some held back laughter. Others lifted their phones, ready to record yet another moment of public humiliation. But the moment Emma stood, something changed. Her posture straightened. Her eyes sharpened. Her breath steadied into something cold and controlled. Jason raised a brow. "What? You gonna cry?" Emma stepped forward, calm as water. "You've been looking for a fight," she said softly. "You finally found one." Tyler laughed. "Oh, please, you can't." He never finished. In a single fluid motion, Emma stepped aside, redirected Jason's incoming shove, and swept her leg behind his ankle. His feet flew out from under him. Jason hit the floor so hard the sound cracked through the cafeteria like a dropped textbook. Gasps erupted. Before Tyler could blink, he lunged toward her, fury replacing confidence. Emma caught his wrist mid-swing, twisted it into a control hold, and guided him down. Not enough to injure, but enough to pin him helplessly to the ground. Tyler let out a strained gasp, stunned by her precision and strength. Brent froze. His brain screamed to run, but his pride glued him in place. Emma's gaze flicked toward him, calm, unshaken, perfectly balanced. She didn't move toward him. She didn't need to. Brent's knees buckled slightly at the realization that she could take him down just as easily. Phones were out everywhere now. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Did you see that?" "She just dropped Jason. She's like trained." "What is she?" Emma released Tyler gently and helped him sit up. Her movements were careful, measured, respectful, even. "I don't like hurting people," she said, her voice steady enough to silence a dozen conversations around her. "But don't mistake kindness for weakness." Jason, his pride wounded far more than his body, scrambled clumsily to his feet. His cheeks burned red. He wanted to throw another punch. He wanted to reclaim his place, his image, his power. But when his eyes met Emma's, his anger flickered. It wasn't fear that froze him. It was what he saw in her expression. Not rage, not smugness, not even triumph. Pity. Jason swallowed hard. Emma stepped closer, not threatening, just earnestly firm. "You could be better than this," she said quietly. "You choose not to be." Her words hit harder than any punch. Teachers burst into the cafeteria, alerted by shouts and the rising roar chaos. Students scrambled to hide their phones, but dozens of videos had already spread through school like wildfire. Arguments erupted, some defending Emma, others wildly exaggerating what happened, some calling her dangerous, others calling her a hero. Emma simply picked up her backpack, slung it over her shoulder, and walked out as calmly as if she were leaving a library. Lily ran after her, breathless. Emma, wait." Emma paused. "What you did in there," Lily said wide-eyed, "that was incredible." Emma shook her head. "It wasn't incredible. It was necessary. But you didn't just offend yourself. You," Lily struggled for words. "You changed something in there. People won't look at you the same way anymore." Emma exhaled slowly. "I didn't want to hurt them." "But you didn't," Lily insisted. "You stopped them." For the first time since arriving at Ridgeway High, Emma felt a tiny crack in the wall around her heart. Maybe it was Lily's sincerity. Maybe it was a strange, unexpected relief of finally standing up for herself without breaking her promise. Because she didn't attack. She defended, just as her father taught her. Word of the cafeteria incident shot through Ridgeway High by the end of the day. Video spread so fast even the teachers knew by last period. Some students avoided her, whispering fearfully. Others watched her with newfound respect. A few even looked inspired. Jason, Tyler, and Brent didn't show up to class. Rumors swirled about detentions, meetings with the principal, and angry phone calls from parents. But what spread louder were the videos. Slow-motion replays of Jason hitting the floor, clips of Tyler pinned helplessly, and the moment Emma said, "Don't mistake kindness for weakness." By Monday, everything had changed. Students didn't shove her in the hall anymore. People moved aside when she walked. Some offered shy smiles or nods of respect. Even teachers looked at her differently. Curious, cautious, impressed. Lily sat beside her at lunch now, chatting with more confidence than she had ever shown. "You know," Lily said between bites of her sandwich. I think you did more than just defend yourself. Emma raised a brow. What do you mean? You showed everyone that you don't have to be loud or cruel to be strong. Emma smiled softly. I don't want to be feared. You aren't, Lily said firmly. Not really. You're admired. Emma didn't know about admired, but she knew one thing. She didn't feel alone anymore. That afternoon, as Emma walked toward her locker, she saw Jason standing there, alone, waiting, but not in the way she expected. His hands were in his pockets. His shoulders were tense, but not with aggression, with shame. Emma stopped a few feet away. What do you want? She asked quietly. Jason swallowed. I came to say sorry. She blinked, surprised. He continued, staring at the floor. I shouldn't have treated you like that. Any of you. He hesitated. I don't know why you didn't just break us. You could have. Emma's voice softened. That's not strength. That's cruelty. He looked up, meeting her eyes. I want to be better. Emma held his gaze for a long moment. Then she nodded once. Good. Start by leaving people alone who can't defend themselves. Jason nodded. I will. As he walked away, shoulders heavy but steps lighter, Lily rounded the corner. What did he want? She asked. Something important, Emma said. A chance to change. And with that, Emma Carter, quiet, disciplined, unbreakable, found her place not by intimidation, but by courage, by restraint, by being exactly who her father taught her to be. Not a fighter, a protector. The girl everyone once ignored had become the girl no one looked down on again. And at Ridgeway High, silence finally meant strength.